Hi, now this is Flo, and if you don't know me, I run the New Zealand Cricut Facebook group. Now, I've had a number of questions asking about the layers panel and what it can do and why it's even there. So, to start with, I've opened my design space and you'll see that I'm on the home screen, which you can tell by it being up here. And the other thing that's on this is the canvas, and that's what we're going to be predominantly doing today. Now, the reason I started on this page was because I thought these were really cute. Now, we're coming up to Easter, and so there'll be lots of things in here for you to do. Now, first of all, we're going to go to the canvas, and we're going to put on our canvas something so that we can work on the canvas. There will be a lot of things that are there, but they'll all be greyed out because there's nothing to work with. So I'm going to put on, now this is the shapes menu. If you have got access, you will have extra shapes down here that you can use. And if you don't, you'll have these ones up here. And I'm going to put a box, and I will colour that box yellow just for the heck of it. Then I'm going to put on a star and leave that star there, and then we'll talk about the menu that we're going to do, and that is the layers menu. Now, on the right hand side here, you'll see this is the layers menu. Now, you can make it a bit bigger if you want to by just dragging it in and out. So we'll drag it out. Now, as you can see on the layers menu, it says layers and then it says color sync. Now, I'm not going to do the color sync until a lot later, if at all, depending on how long the video goes for. Now, what I will show you is that up here is delete. Now, you can delete something from your canvas by just selecting it and selecting delete, but we actually don't want to delete that one at the moment, so we'll go back to undo. Now, if we select again, you see that this is duplicate. Now, you've got a shortcut for duplicate, and that is Control D. So if I click on this, I get a duplicated image. Then I've got this image up here, and sometimes if we press Alt and click on the image, we get another one as well. Now, the image we've got by pressing Alt and then clicking on the image is an image that's directly underneath the one that you've got. So whereas with duplicate, the image comes up and generally to the left, with Alt and clicking on it, it comes directly underneath. Now, that's very handy if you want to duplicate your score lines or something similar to that. So we'll take those away for now, and we can just select delete. No, we'll go back again actually, because if I right click on this, you'll also see deletes here, and the shortcut key is on your keyboard is just straight delete. So you can select those, right click your mouse and go delete, and they will be there. Or they won't be there if they, in fact, if you click delete. So that's the important thing with that. Now, the other thing that we've got on the top of the layers panel is this little grayed out button here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select two items, and once I've selected two items, you can actually see that this one comes up. Now, this one is group or ungroup. Now, if they're not grouped, then you select that, and that will group them. Now, group means that will stay together on the canvas. When you go to the Make It screen, they will not be in the same place. They're two different colours, so they will go onto different screens. Now, while they are grouped, I can select each one of them and do something to it. I'll change this one to an orange, and you can see that that's still grouped, but if we come through to the Make It screen, oops, okay, right, we're going to save this. It does have an option now to save, and so I will do that, because if I don't do that, I will probably find that I will lose it and forget what I've done. So now you can see on the layers screen that there's two boxes in yellow and there's one there. So that's, we'll cancel that again and we'll go back to the canvas. But this is where you can group things so that they can stay on the canvas where you want them. They don't transfer through to the cut screen that way. So once you've got them grouped, and you can see up here it says group, once you've got them grouped, if you want to ungroup them, you can just click on this again and click out of there, and now they're ungrouped, and so they can go their merry little way. Now that is the top of it, and then we've got a number of things down the bottom. But before we go to the bottom, if we did this star and we decided to warp it, for instance, and we're going to check out our warp, and I'm just going to pick anything. Now we've got it warped, and it's a star and it's warped, and it's a little bit like a rocket. So I want to rename this. Now I'm going to come up to the layers panel here, and I am going to right click on the warp, and I'm going to rename it, right? And I'm going to rename it robot. No, what did I call it? Rocket. And I shall backspace that, and I shall call it rocket. If I can remember how to spell it, there we go. And when I come out here, it's now called rocket. It's from the star, and if I click on this again and I go to the warp menu, you can see that I can actually undo it if I want to. But what I was trying to show you is that each of these can now be renamed by simply clicking on your right mouse button on the layers panel and going to rename. So that's really great for when you get things in that come in as a group of items, for instance, in an SVG that you're uploading. They are listed as white 1, lavender 2, red, and that's all they're listed as. When they come in, they sometimes need to be renamed so that you know where they're from and exactly what they are. So that's a really good way of doing that. So now let's go. I have actually printed this out. This is in learn.cricut.com, and that's where I'm going from. So if you want all this, it's just simply go learn.cricut.com and search layers, and you'll find lots of things in there so that you can actually do all these things. Now, the other way you can change the name is to just simply double click on it, and you'll see the square. I can now call it an oval if I want to. just backspace out of it and choose oval, and although it's not an oval, I might call it square 1 or square 2, or for instance you might want to name your layers as layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, simply because you are doing offsets on them, and that's another thing that you can do there. Right, now continue. Right, now at the bottom we have, first of all, we've got the blank canvas, and if you click on the blank canvas, you'll see that the top here changes. And what we're going to do there is we're going to wait, very grayed out almost, is these things up here, and you can choose a size and that sort of thing if you choose a template. But what you can do is click on the blank canvas, go to colour, and you can put a coloured background in. Now this is going to colour your whole background. Doesn't take out your grid, but maybe that's a little bit too bright for you, so go to advanced and bring your colour down a little so that it's just slightly, oh, we're now into the purples. Right, then it just gives you something that if you've got a white image on your canvas, you can now see it. It's not put into the background where you can't see it. So just remember that if you're doing that, you can actually do that with your blank canvas. Once you click on it, you can come here and you can go back to white again, and I'll do that. Probably because it's easier to see on a screen when you're doing things. So now we're going to do some of these things down the bottom, and you can see they're all grayed out because most of them, if not all of them, need more than one thing to utilize them. So I'm going to put these two squares across each other, and I'm going to select them both. Now as soon as I select them both, we now have the option of slicing them. Now if we slice them, we know what slice does. It takes one piece out of the other, and it leaves us two pieces in between. Right? So there we have, we've sliced it out. We might want to slice a little bit off here. We might want to slice a piece off the corners to make something. For instance, if you're going to make a box and you don't want this piece in the corner, you just want it coming up, or you want to put a little tab back in here, then that's easy enough to do that. So that is your slice. Right, now I'm going to go back from slice and get my little boxes again, and you can see I'm just using undo here, and I must have done a lot of moves with these things because I'm using a lot of undos. And there's my two boxes again. Now if I select them again, let's just duplicate these again, so I've got them both there. I can put those over there. Now if we select these and go slice, we know what slice does, and we'll put slice up here to show what slice does. Right, now before I fiddle around with these two, let's put our little rocket up there. I'll duplicate them again, and as you see, oops, I was on the rocket, wasn't I? If I duplicate these, you can see they go up on the left hand side. So let's just put those there, and I'll work with these ones down here. Now the second one is the combined menu, but before I do the combined menu, I'm going to show you the difference between the group which I've just grouped those. I showed you group before, but this time I'm going to show you attach. So we're just jumping that combine menu for a minute. Now this one I want to attach, and I'm going to go attach. Now you can see that when I attached them, they went to the same colour. When I grouped them, they didn't. Now in the group one, you can see that it's highlighted here in the layers panel. You've got the square that I called oval, and I've got the square, and it says group. When I go to this one, they are attached. Now that's how they will go to the layers panel. So if I just select these on the layers panel, you can also eyeball things out. Now that doesn't mean to say they've disappeared, it just means that we don't have them on our page to clutter up the mess. So I am now going to group these that I sliced, and I'm going to eyeball them out too. Now what I wanted to do that for is to take you through to the cut screen, and with the cut screen show you that this one was grouped with this one, with that one, but these two were attached. Now they were attached, but they weren't welded or united, so that will cut two squares and it'll cut one out of the other. So it will cut two squares. So this one will be on top of that one. So that's what happens when you've got them attached. However, you can move them around and they're still attached. You can't unattach them from this point. So we'll go back, and that shows you how them attached will go there. Now, if I select this particular square, I right click on there and go bring to front. That square will come to the front. If I click on this square and right click and go bring to the front, it'll bring this one to the front. So if I click on that and go send to the back, you can see that the square changes where I put it. So it just shows you that because it's got this piece, it's, you know that it's going to actually cut that. Now that's again attach and group. Yep. Now I'm going to go back to I'm going to go to the combine menu now, and so I'll ungroup this, and you can see that it still looks as if it's grouped. If I click out, I can now move these independently, so they are no longer grouped. However, to get these two separate, these two stay the same color as they were, but to detach these, we have to go down to the bottom and we detach them. Now, they are still there, but as you can see, our white square changed to yellow. So beware that if you attach things, they will change to all the same color because they will cut on the same mat. Now, we're going to select these again, and we're going to come to the combine menu. Now, this one is very confusing for a lot of people, including me. So I have to go through it piece by piece to work out each time what it actually does. So it's not I don't find it an easy thing to put in my head, but it's there and I can work it out if I go through it slowly. First of all, we'll do weld. Now, there's a weld, and also under this menu, you'll find there's Unite. Now, if we put these two, come on, behave yourself. If we put these two, one over the top of the other, and we go down, first of all, we've got to select both of them, and we go down and we unite them, you will see that, yes, that's exactly what they've done. They've united. They've become one piece. And over here, you'll see it says unite. And it's still got the oval and the square. Now, if we do the same to this, but we go down here, we'll select that, and we go down here and we go weld, it becomes one. Now, that's right, it's become one. However, it has become one image. Now, this is great if you want just one image, but sometimes you want to undo that weld. Now, the only way you can undo a weld is by undoing it immediately. You can't do another action and then go back and undo. It has to be undone by going to the undo button. And so you have to wait for that to unweld with the undo button. Hopefully it's going to undo for us. And it's going to take its merry little time today. I think it was probably undoing the little moves that I've made. Now you can see that it's just not that easy sometimes, and of course because I'm moving it around, it's making it even worse. So that just shows how inconvenient sometimes it is to weld it unless you're specific in exactly what you want done and can do that. And I've just clicked that button 3 times hoping that that's going to work, but it still may not. However, if we select the Unite button, and you can see that this is one image at the moment, and we go back down to our menu down here, it will say undo Unite. And if we undo Unite, it becomes 2 objects again. Right, now I'm going to go back and unite this because this is still welded, as you can see. I couldn't do that. Now I'm going to have to go back and back and back and back to unweld this. So I'm going to click on here and go unite. And you can see that it's united again, and it's one, although it still remains 2 individual pieces. Now if I click on this one, I can actually move it, right? But it's actually united and it will go like that. Now, if we go to the Make It screen, you will see that this is our united one and it's going to cut like that. And this is our welded one. So yes, they will both cut as single images. So that's a little bit of the difference. The difference mainly is that this one is much harder to undo than the Unite. However, because it's united, and if we bring in our little star again, and I'll just bring in another little star, make it easy. I'm going to make this smaller, and I'm going to try and slice that star out. Now, this is united, and this is a little star. Now, we've got all 3 selected, and I'm going to slice the star out, and that worked. So they've been doing something on it, because at one stage you couldn't do that. So just be aware that sometimes things do change with the little things that are in there. Right, now this is a welded image, so that's one. Now the interesting thing with a welded image is that it doesn't have to overlap to be welded. Now I shall click on these, and now I've got 4 stars up here. Now one time I wanted a black spots on yellow paper and I couldn't get it. So what I did was I made my dots and I welded my dots together, and I chose weld, went weld, and they all become the same color. So that's okay. I'm going to put them over here. Now when I welded them, they became one image, so that was good because you can generally only slice one image from another. So I then went to these two, sliced it out, and I now have my spots taken out of the paper that I wanted to have black spots on, and I put a black layer underneath and used the yellow on top, and that's how I got my black spotted yellow paper. So that's another thing you can do. Remember that you can weld. You can also do this if we go back. It might take us a bit of a while to go back because we welded again. So yes, it's going to take a while because I've moved. Every time you move something on the canvas, it's another move that it has to undo. So sometimes it's just as easy to take them away and say, okay, right, we'll delete those. We know what we did there. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go through some of the other things. We'll go back and get some more squares. And we're back to black squares again. So now if I right click on there, I can do that, and we'll start with our squares again. Now I don't particularly like working with black because it's quite hard on the eyes for me to see, so I like to work with colours, and that makes it easier for me to see them. Now hopefully it's easy for you to see them. So we've now got 2 images, and we're going to go through the combine menu. We can't go through the combine menu until we select them. So here we've done Unite. Now we're going to go Subtract. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this one over the top of this one, and we're going to highlight them both, and we're going to see what Subtract does. Now it should subtract one from the other. Now this one says looks like the top one has come out of the back one. So let's have a look. Subtract. And that's exactly what it's done. It's subtracted our star from the background. So the interesting thing now is that if we say, oh no, I didn't want to do that, you can undo your subtract. So that is again where I had to weld my little stars before to get them out of the background. Now you can see it's gone yellow because it was subtracted out. I'm going to do 4 little stars here. I'm not going to go through the problem of welding them or doing anything else. I'm just going to randomly put them across there, and now they are on the top because I can see them, and I'll show you that. So before I do that, if I right click and go send to back, it's at the back. Right, now I'm going to select all these, and I'm going to go subtract. Now there's no combined result because one was in front and the rest of them were at the back. So we've got to undo our subtract, and we've got to put this one to the back so that so that they're all there. Okay, right, what are we doing here? Okay, we've lost them. No, we've definitely lost them. So I'm not quite sure what I've done there. However, when I subtracted it, definitely subtracted it, it subtracted the whole lot. Now, if I select both of those again, I've got a star. Oh, I've got lots of stars. Right, so I want to find where my stars have gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off this, click on the square, but I'm going to select the stars. I'm the first star. I'm going to put my finger on shift and I'm going to select the other stars, right? And then I'm going to go over here and say bring to front. And now I've found my stars again. That's the idea of the layers panel, because now I can find things in the layers panel. So again, now that they're on top, it takes the top out of the bottom. So we'll go back to subtract, and there they are. And instead of having to weld them all together and try and figure out what I've done, that's where I've got to. So this is subtract. Now, what's our next one? Our next one is intersect. Aha. Now, this one's another interesting one. What have I done here? Come on, where is my shapes? Right, we'll take some, oops, it doesn't want to be dragged on there, it just wants us to be put on there. Right, oh, I've got an odd shape now because the little rotation button was there. So I can take them back and rotate them back again if I want to. And I just simply click on there and go 0, and he'll go back to being straight. Now we shall change the colour again. We'll make him sort of orange this time. And we don't want to delete him, we want to duplicate him. Right, now we're going to highlight both of these. We're going to go down to the combine menu and we're going to go intersect. Now, intersect is the area which is the area that crosses over. Now, there's only one piece now. So if we go undo intersect, which we can, right, it's the piece that crosses over. Now, as you can see, we can select that. Now, if this is inside and we've made that the right size and we've got it all there and we want to take it out, we've aligned it all, let's align it center. Okay, we've aligned it center, and now we've decided we want to cut the inside from the outside, but we don't want to use the slice feature. We can go in and use the intersect feature, and we have just the inside. Now, when you're doing this, you can undo the intersect feature. You can have that one and then duplicate it, and then you've got your outside. If we sliced it, we would have both pieces. So if we go slice, we've got both pieces. If we intersect it, we've only got the inside piece. Now, that's great if you want the inside piece, but if you want the outside piece, put the inside piece to the back, select them both, and go intersect. You still only get the inside piece. So you don't get the outside frame. So when you don't need the outside frame, you're only looking at the inside piece that you want, then that's when you use that feature. Now, let's come and select them again so that we can find the other one. And we now have Exclude. Now, Exclude's another one that I find difficult to wrap my head around, but I've got two pieces here. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go Exclude, and it's going to exclude where it overlaps. Now, if I put my little stars on here, so we'll come back up and find some stars, and going to leave just have the three of them, and I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to go Exclude, and again it's taken them away. Now that's very similar to Subtract, but I'm not quite sure what the difference is because we did the same thing with it. However, this is Exclude and that's Subtract. So Exclude excludes this little piece in the middle. So that was Intersect. You've got Subtract, which is up here. You've got Intersect, and it takes away the piece that was intersecting. And then you've got Exclude, and Exclude will take away anything that is over the top of it. So if we do these two pieces now, and we come down here to the Layers menu and go Exclude, it'll exclude just this piece. So it only excludes the pieces that are over the top. Now, if we undo that, undo Exclude, and we come here, pick them up again, and we come back here and go Subtract, it subtracts the whole of this one. So that's the difference. So if you're playing around with them, you really need to have a good play. And this is all in learn.cricut.com. So the main thing here is to the fact that all these, apart from Weld, can be undone. So you can undo your Subtract. You can undo your Unite. Now, if we've got something like this, now the bottom one down here, which you, we're going to undo Exclude there. And if we bring this one down here and we do all this, we've got all of these highlighted, and you can see that on this side. And at the, I'm going to unite these now. Now, at the bottom of the menu now with Unite, we've got Merge Layers. Now, as you can see, with this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers in here. So if I come down the bottom now and I go Merge Layers, it'll bring them up and it's merged them all to one layer. And if I come back down here, I've selected it, I come back down here and it's not going to allow me to unmerge them. And if I right click, it's still not going to allow me to unmerge them. So now they've merged as in exactly the same as if we'd welded them all together. So that's your final piece for wanting to do that. So that's the different pieces of your combine menu. If you've got something that you've put on your canvas, let's go back and have a look at the home menu, because that had some cute little things in it. Okay, let's just pick this little bee, and you can see now that it gives you lots of other things that are very similar, so you can pick a lot of different things if you want to, and it shows you what they've used it for, and you just simply click add to canvas and go view, and it'll come up on our canvas. Now with this little bee is cut out, so you can see it's got 3 layers of the bee. It's got a white layer, a black layer, and a gold layer. Now we've got them on top of here, and we don't need these background bits, but this one, the last thing on here is flat. No, we've got flatten, and then we've got contour. So if I want to print and cut them, I've got to select them all, and then I've got to go flatten. Now once he goes flatten, you'll see in the layers panel it says print then cut. Now when I go to the make it screen, the first screen that's going to come up will be a print and cut screen, and it will be here. So you can see we can move them around on our print and cut screen to make them where we want to go, and that will now be a print and cut image as opposed to a cut image. Now click them again and go unflatten, and it becomes as layers again. Now to unlayer him, he will be grouped. So if we ungroup him, then we can take the layers away, and you can see that he's got a gold layer, a white layer, and a black layer. Now if you don't want to do all the layers and you want to slice them out, you can do that, or you could use your menu to see what you get from them. There are sorts of different things. Now if we use one layer, so we'll just use this black layer, no, it's not going to come up either. So I'm trying to get something that's going to come up for a contour for you. I should be able to contour that. Why can't I contour that? It doesn't want to contour. Okay, let's see if we can find something else. Images there. Oh dear. Let's try fantasy. I'm always in a fantasy world. I don't know about anyone else. Now we'll try this little one. Did we get him on the canvas? Aha! I don't know what I did with him. Let's try this and see whether this works. Add to canvas. Yeah. Right, now this one's come in, and maybe I, with a fiddling around, it didn't work. We'll put that one down there. But when I select this one, let's just get all these out of the way so that you can see them. The little bees, I can go in and I can contour him. And this is the last one on our layers menu down here. Now, what this does is it takes away, it hides things, or it shows things. Now, first of all, it's got everything showing. So if we want to take things away, we just click on it. Now, because we can't move this, it makes it a lot easier if you've got a really big screen so that you can actually see what's happened. And if I select all this lot and go delete, and then I put them over here, and then I go contour, you can sort of see what's happening. Now, if I select the layer here, it goes black. So it's going to be just an outline. But you can also see that these ones have greyed out. So if I want to grey out this one, he's the wrong one to grey out because we can't see him. I want this one up here so that we can see him. So now, because we've got to go and fiddle around with this one to see where he is, sometimes it might be easier to do these ones. Aha. There we go. See if we click them on and we click them off, there he is down there. So you can have your little bees so that one of them's all black, or you can take out the different things in them, and you can do that with contour. You can only take out the bits or put in the bits that are there for you, but that's using contour. Now, the only thing that's left in the actual menu that I haven't gone over is the color sync. So I'll actually get rid of this and I'll show you color sync just to show you what it's all about. And that one is orange. Now, 2, 3. Now I've got 4 different things here. Now, often you will want to cut a number of different things, and you've got here, we've got 4 different colored things to cut. One's going to be yellow, orange, green, blue, and we want to cut them all on one mat. We know that they're all going to be in a different color, and we've put 4 colors on our mat. So we've got 6 by 6 squares. We've put 4 6 by 6 squares on our mat, and we want to cut these all on one mat. So the easiest way to do that is to go to color sync, and you just drag them up. And when you drag them up, as you'll see, they change color. So now they're all there. Now, if I undo that, it's taking an awful long time to undo these days. Right. I think it's going to probably be quicker if I just colour them again and show you another way of doing it on the mat itself. And you've got there, you've gone to the make it screen, and they've all gone on to different mats, and you think, oh, I really just wanted them all on one mat, and I know that they're going to be 3 inches and I need 3 by 3 for this one. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go to the second mat and you click these 3 little buttons, like a hamburger menu sideways, and it says hide or move. Now I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move it to the first mat. Now you can see it's gone over the top. It's also changed color. So now we're going to go down to the third mat, which is the blue one. I'm going to move this over to show you what it is like. Now I've moved it on the mat by just clicking and dragging, and I'm going to select the mat again, and this time it's gone in exactly the place that it was on the previous mat. So you can move these around on this mat. You can select your 3-inch squares and say, right, that's 3 inches, that's 3 inches, that's 3 inches, and we'll just show it to you again. Click on the dots, select move, select the match you want it on, and it'll go right over the top of it. So this one can now go here. You can put your 4 little pieces of squares that you want in different colours on there, and you can cut them that way. Now, if you decide that you've got something on your mat you don't want, you can select hide selected, and when you come back down here, you've got hidden down here, and there's one hidden, and if you select that, it tells you it's the star, and you can put it back again. Well, it's not a star, it's a pentagon. Right, so I hope that all helped with the layers panel. It is complex to understand it all, but it's a really good thing to be able to understand. It's also a fabulous amount of work that they've done. As you can see, this group I hid before by clicking off the eyeball, and here's our shapes that we had before. So play around with your shapes, play around with your menus, and it's all in Cricut, learn.cricut.com, and it's under layers if you search. And all what I've just told you, I have actually printed it out, so I will put it in with the documents that are under files. And I hope that's helped you. And thank you if you're going to watch this to the end, because it was very long.